My name is Marshall Colman. I make decorated pottery in the tin-glazed tradition. I mix my own clay because I can't buy a clay which has got exactly the right colour. So what I do is to mix it with 3 parts of white clay to 1 part of red clay, which gives a pink terracotta. I'm completely dependent on my Roda pug mill, a nice German pug mill, which is very efficient. I believe in working smart rather than working hard, so the clay mixing is done by machine. The final process is just wedging up on the bench to make sure that the clay is evenly mixed and that there are no bubbles in it. Then when I'm throwing, I like the throwing to be quite thin and light, so I'm throwing up the jug and trying to make it as thin as possible. It's a process which you get better at as time goes on. I'm still not perfectly satisfied with the work that I produce, but I feel I'm getting a nice lightness and a thinness of edge. Because I'm making tableware, it's got to be the right weight when you pick it up. When you pick up a jug, you want to lift the liquid and not the clay. When I make the handles, I extrude them through a die which I've cut, and the dies are cut for different dies for different handles, different sections and different sizes. And I like to cut it with a ridged surface because it's pleasant to hold. It's lively, but also that ridged surface allows the different thicknesses of glaze to show through. So the extruded handles are cut to length and they're applied to the fairly hard thrown body with slip, and the best way to make a hard join is to score the point at which the 2 parts join and put slip between them and then press them on. Then it's cleaned off with a brush and a sponge. Over the years I've found the best firing cycle for both the glaze and the bisque. I started off with the conventional method that studio potters use of firing the bisque to 1000 degrees and the glaze to something between 1050 and 1100. Then I found that the best way to do it was to revert to the continental process and have a high fired bisque. And in the end, what I settled on was to fire bisque and glaze at the same temperature, which is about 1060. It's in the nature of the tin-glaze, which is an incredibly troublesome glaze. The whole point about tin-glaze is that what you want is a glaze which doesn't move very much. You're putting a decoration on the surface of it. If the glaze runs, the decoration runs, so you want a glaze that doesn't run. The pattern that I'm decorating here is a sort of oriental pattern. I decided that the way to improve my work was to go to the people who do it best. So I went to a course in London's Chinatown on the Chinese style of painting. So the little brushes that I'm using here, the little round brush is a squirrel brush and the long rigger is a sabre brush, and those are just lovely to work with. I really like working with those. I prefer to use raw oxides rather than prepared pigments or stains. Unfortunately, at earthenware temperatures, it's virtually impossible to get red from using a raw oxide, so I have to use prepared stains. For the black, I mix my own colour. It's a mixture of cobalt and of manganese, and that gives a very nice black of varying intensity. What I'm trying to do in my work is to take this very traditional method and to produce something which is modern, very much of the present, and work that can be used in a contemporary home. They're designed to be practical as well as beautiful, and I hope that that's what I succeeded in doing.